Right, we are going to do a watercolor of Sable running with a bushfire behind him. I've got a pretty good idea of the colors I need, the subject matter. The two Sable will be running with the fire as a backdrop. So what we need to do now is get cadmium yellow stain on our watercolor paper, and then bring the oranges and reds into it with the flames. But we need to mask out where the beautiful green colors of the trees are, because this is actually quite a dominant color to use. Our Sable will be strong feature, but we need to support it with the bush detail behind there. So phase one is to block out these areas where there's going to be green grass and maybe green leaves and some grass. As usual, I've got my watercolor paints here. I use turquoise. Because I use so much of it, you can actually get turquoise watercolor in a bottle like this. I use a lot of it. I'm already a third down because I don't use cerulean blue anymore in skies. I prefer the turquoise. You can see the turquoise colors in the smoke here and up here as well. I use a lot of white. This is actually my second tin I'm on now, so I use an acrylic ultra white base color with I scoop it out with my palette knife, and I put it into a disposable plate. These pyrostene things that you can throw away after a meal, etc. These are great. I go through like 2 or 3 of these a day, and I can throw them away. So it saves cleaning a palette. So stage one is to wet the paper after I've masked off the leaves, and then we're going to get the cadmium yellow. It's very important that we keep the cadmium yellow of the flames like a stain on here. It'll really glow if we do this right. We're ready to mask off the trees, the leaves. I like using brushes like this. I get a round brush, perfectly healthy round brush, and I put it on a metal plate and I bash it flat, and it ends up, you can do a very fine line, or you can do broad strokes with a brush like this. So I modify these, and it's great for doing grass or branches. Not the round brush. It needs to be abused. Before we use this gum, we have to put soapy water onto our brush. Otherwise the brush will gum up and you won't be able to use it again. So we just have some soap, work it in there. And now we use a drawing gum. It comes in 2 colors. There's a cream color. I like the blue because I can see where I've gone, what I'm doing. Do not shake these bottles. These have to be very airtight, and they do not like to be thrown around. The less air that gets to this, the better. It'll last a lot longer. This tends to dry very quickly if it's not looked after. I make sure it's very sure that I seal it every time after I've used it. So I'm going to, where I see the trees here, I'm going to put the gum down. This means that the watercolor paint, when I do the fire, will not be able to penetrate these areas. And I can also use an old tatty brush. Get the soap into it so I can reuse it. This is a old brush that I've actually trimmed. It's beautiful for doing leaves, so I can do lots of leaves at the same time. So I'm going to do this bush here. Try not to make big solid areas. Try and get a little bit of gap between the dots. Now this stuff is great, this gum. I've done a starry night before where I flick the brush and little dots go everywhere, and these are stars. So once you finish doing the blue sky, you erase off all the gum, and then these white stars pop back. Very clever technique, that. So this brush is good for the big areas. You can see I get individual leaves here if I do it right. I don't want a solid mass. You've got to get some light showing through. My subject matter, my sable will be here, so I don't want a tree in front of the way. We need to lead into the subject matter. So we'll have another little tree here maybe. Now when you do sticks and grass, make sure it starts off thick and ends up thin. We don't want thin going into thick. That's how novices do it. And because it's the bush, it's a little bit chaotic. Make sure I favor this area here as well. This is the most critical stage now. We must get our cadmium yellow of the actual flames coming through on the white base. Very important. If we lose the cadmium yellow, the whole picture is not going to work, because we need the sable to really pop out against the fiery background. So I get my acrylic white paint. Saves a lot on white watercolor tubes, goes a long way. This, as I say, I'm on my second tin now. I wipe my palette knife because otherwise paint will get everywhere. I've lined up my colors. Cadmium yellow, this is the main guy. A little bubble of air from Beijing popping out there. And I'm going to go richer with cadmium orange. I don't know who this guy Cadmium was, but he definitely got around. I'm getting red, nice rich red color. Maybe even a bit deeper red. Now we're going to get into the dark smoky areas, which is like a burnt sienna with blue grey. Of course, burnt sienna is disguised as a cadmium orange, which is really confusing. And then just to throw some diesel fumes amongst the whole lot, I use my Payne's grey at the end here. Right, now we're ready to go. This is a nervous time for me, because if I don't get my cadmium yellow coming out, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to spray the whole paper lightly with water. Not down here, because I just want to do the fire at this stage. Now I use an old brush. These are the cheapest brushes you can get. It's about a $3 for $1, but they've got a beautiful scrungy head to it. Best brushes in the world. So this is the base of my fire here, so I'm going to put down, now because it's a wet surface, this white is going to try and run everywhere. It's like a pandemonium at a football station. Here's my cadmium yellow. Gotta keep that. It's very, very important, because there's some flames licking up high up here. Now see, because it's watercolor, it's starting to run now. It's going crazy. Milk break at school, just a split second, all the kids have disappeared. Same with this. Right, now I'm going richer. Now I do not want my white to mix up with my reds, because then we're going to get a pinky, horrible color. So I'm going to clean my brush before we go need some more cadmium yellow. keep all your tubes at hand, because this is an emergency. We hit the ground running. We've got to do this fast. There, look, there's a nice spread there. The water's lovely, lovely medium. Let's go up there, a couple of real fiery flames up here doing that bit. Okay, now I'll clean my brush, because I do not want white, this white in the middle here, I do not want it getting out here. Well, I'm going to go through a lot of cadmium yellow, I think. Look at that. Ugh! Get burnt just looking at it. Okay, do not go there. This is quarantined off now, that white. Do not want any of that now. Look at that spread. There's some beautiful fiery things happening there. Okay, this should be so real. I hear the fire engines coming, arriving at my house. Okay, nice deep red here. Look at that. Let me look at my picture. I've actually got some red pockets here. I need some more cadmium yellow. I can imagine how well the trees are going to stand out against here, and I'll buck running and panic. Okay, remember you mask this off, so we'll have some nice green trees popping out there. Okay, well, it's a little washy. I might need some more cadmium yellow there. Wow, I'm going through a lot of this stuff. Just put the paint down and let the water all fight amongst themselves. Who's going to get the gravy? Okay. Now I can try and get some my diesel coming at the edges here. Wash my brush again. Okay, I do not put that down here yet. It's a no-go. Now I've got to watch for water that's running off there. It's a little tributary starting. I've got to make sure everyone's in line. Okay, that's not a nice color. There's an ochre color. I've mixed up this. So now we've got a run going here like this. So we might just pull that away. I get a dry piece of paper, and that paint should be sucked off the edge there like that. And collect the excess that's around here, because this has a habit of creeping back into the picture again. Sometimes I spin I spin the paper. I don't want to do too much because I actually quite like what's going on here at the moment. Okay, there's a nice twist happening here. This is not very cool. Now I use a blending brush. It's a very soft brush. It's like a makeup brush. I love these. When I finish painting with this, I always go to the kitchen, clean with soap and water, look after it. So what do we need to do here? Some paint's curling around here, not too good. Let's just take it out a little bit. There's a bit of fiery red pockets. That's nice. I like these red pockets. It's appearing. Okay, you can see the paint is draining there like that. We need to arrest that movement a little bit. Right, it's a bit too white here. I want to bring back, bring some cadmium, a little bit of cadmium back in there. More white, a little bit of cadmium. We want a little bit of white shine to it, but not too much. It's mostly a cadmium yellow factory we want to build here. Okay, they're not starting to yellow in a little bit. But all sorts of magic things are happening there. The water's finding places, the red's encroaching, the yellow's shooting out. I've got this train smash here which keeps developing like a pothole in the corner here. So this brush is dry. It actually soaks up the water from the paper. Now if you see this, it looks grainy and it doesn't look nice. So when this is nearly dry, we go over it with a dry blending brush and soften it all in. I'll show you that later. So now we have the next stage. I've put this painting outside in the sun to dry for a good half an hour, and the trick of this stage is I've used workable fixative. It says it protects artwork. I've sprayed it once, let it dry in the sun, come back, sprayed it twice. So now when we do watercolor work, these colors should not run. These should be fixed there, and all we do is we're going to be glazing over on top. We're going to be doing smoke colors, at a bit more flames, etc. I've got my fiery colors here, but then I've got my lilac color, black and blue, which is all the smoke colors that we're going to. This is the tricky part here, where we're going to go up into the sky and smoke. Maybe we're going to strengthen up the flames a little bit. Must make sure we keep some cadmium yellow areas. And we're going to do like a blue-grey bottom there, forest floor. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to spray again with adhesive, and then we're going to do the smoke, the wafting from the fallen embers. So I'm going to spray the whole thing, because I put fixative down now. This should be sealed off. I get my old brush again. Gonna bring some more colors in here. Maybe just a few more, just add a little bit of flame to it there. Now I need to start getting some richer colors. Going to clean my brush, make sure I haven't got any of that white. Okay, here I use a lot of lilac and the blue. This is our smoky colors. If it's too rich, I just tone it down with a little bit of black. Okay, it's a mixture of flames and smoke. It's quite tricky, but should come out okay. If I can, I'm going to get some sky coming through here, through the top here. That shows it creates a bit more depth to the painting. Now I'm going to just get that blue-grey color on the bottom here. That's quite critical. I'm going to go up to where I've masked off the grass. And right, that should be good. And then we're going to do blue smoke coming up here. I'll quickly use a blending brush just to soften it all in. If there are rough edges, I'll use that blending brush just to soften everything in. Okay, now remember we still got our trees masked out, so when this is all dry, then we'll use our razor and then get the bright green leaves to pop out. Just soften all that in. Okay, good. Okay, if this is a bit harsh, I'll use another little brush just to soften the lines in. Again, a little water here, just to break up the line so it's not too crisp. I remember we masked here as well, so this grass will really pop out against this fiery background. And the best part of this whole thing is when you take the tape off afterwards and it almost looks framed. Now, just before I let this all dry, I'm actually going to do the foreground here a little bit. I've got the color of the grass here, you can see it's like Naples yellow, yellow ochre colors. I'm just going to go over the whole lot. We masked off a whole lot here of grass, but we just need to get some of this down. Okay, it's a bit dry. I don't want to spray water in there because you get tiny little spots appearing, so be careful here. Just make it a soft surface to work with. I don't know where that black came from. Never mind. Picking up some bad colors there. Right, so this is our grass colors in the foreground here. We can mix it up a bit. I've got some brown here, a little bit of black, make it maybe. And this brush is lovely because it's got horrible old hairs, but it's great for grass and detail. Right, now because it's a watercolor, I'm gonna spray water on here. Now you see I've got a couple of things going up there. I don't want that. Got that off. Now I'm gonna put water on here and just let it run a little bit. It's too stiff. The paint is too thick here. So let's just get all of that just to run off a bit. Be careful not to spray up in here. This is all looking very good. Pick up the excess paint here a little bit. Okay, we actually just want to stain the paper with grass colors. Okay, that's looking nice. Okay, careful of water collects at the sides here. It might creep back in and messes up the whole painting. I've had that happen to me before. So we just pick up the excess water. So I'm going to do some tendrils of smoke going up from the forest floor. Love this effect here with the light blue smoke going up there, maybe joining the skyline. Once again, after I've done the wash here with the smoke, I've gone over it with the fixative, work with fixative twice. So now these colors shouldn't mix in with my smoke colors I'm about to introduce. I'm going to lightly spray water along here so that the smoke can slowly dissipate into the fire line there. So just a fine mist of water along here. I use the white paint there, acrylic paint, going with my light blue. I've got Payne's grey there because maybe I might need the blue a little bit darker at the bottom there. If it's too rich, use the Payne's grey, just tones it down a little bit there. Right, let's go. I think a bit more blue. The blue's really strong there, the turquoise. Now, how do I marry these two together? Use my blending brush. This beautiful brush here again, because it's wet, that it should soften in. I can control it, the movements. I'm a little bit shy with the paint. Use my blending brush. This can be quite a hard line down here because there's a lot of hard detail on the ground there, but this must all be faded up there. A couple of little ones. I don't want to put the blue smoke here because that's where animals are going to be running into there, and the blue will distract. So we just have it here going up, creating this movement. The eye should be brought into the, see the lines there all bringing down into the subject matter. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't want to go mess it up now because it's actually looking pretty perfect. Blend it in. So because I've used the spray, I've fixed the background down, locked it down, sprayed water around, and then the smoke, and then just it'll slowly soak into there. There's no sharp lines. It's a beautiful picture. And then I can put some dark trees coming out here, which will really get everything to pop out. That's good. Now that the smoke has dried, as it were, I'm going to erase all the gum that I put on here, so the white spots will come back. I can use a normal eraser, or there's an ink. It's very, very hard, this one. This is for getting the stubborn areas off. Okay, sometimes you can peel off big areas.
About 90% of it. Dee approved some of that, but I think the judge was right to say that they were going overboard, and this is all.
The main way of getting the image down onto our watercolor paper is using a transfer paper. It comes in like about 5 different colors. There's white, black, red, yellow and blue. I'm not crazy about the white because it's very, very chalky. I prefer to use the yellow. You can see the different colors there that you can get. I love using the red. It's very good for watercolors, plus on oil surfaces as well. When you draw out your outline, you use a softer lead. I normally use an HB to go around. You can see the soft lines there, the soft lead. But then when I actually get the elephant down in detail, I use anything 2H, 4H, even a 9H I've used. Very, very hard lead here. So I use different pencils for different jobs. So I place the carbon under there, and I will go over now the lines of my elephant. Remember to use hard lead here when you do this, not soft. Otherwise you'll have to keep sharpening your pencil. Okay, there. That's how we get the outline down. These leads are interchangeable. So I've got like six banks going from 8B, very, very soft, down to the very, very hard. So that's how we get the image down onto the paper. Everything will pop out. And I'm going to stain these areas a little bit with some grass colors. Cadmium orange. Again, not thick paint, we want this showing through like a stained color coming through there. But we'll just have a splash of cadmium orange and we'll get back into the Naples yellow again here. This brush again, big flat areas we can do thin bits of grass like this. Beautiful brush. I rest my finger on here sometimes so I've got a steady hand. Individual bits of grass here. We're going to slowly build this up. So there's lots and lots of thick bush here. Lock my finger down. Right, now we're going to get to start the detail on the trees, etc. You'll see from my palette here, I've got a deep red, black, brown, and then there's also blues, just a weird color. Not quite sure what this one is, but we've got to get some blue aspect into the trees. We've got oranges, browns, blacks, and we use a long-haired brush, beautiful brush for doing branches and grass. So we've got to keep these leaves rich reddy brown color, not black, and then bring in a little bit of blue in maybe. This is now the tightening up stage. This is where it's all just itty bitty work, but the end is in sight. So see here, get a nice mixture. Make sure that there's a red content in here. Go, lock my finger down. This is not a black color, even though it's sort of silhouetted. And trees, the trunks will start off thick and go thinner, 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 thinner. It mustn't go thinner and then suddenly become thick halfway. And everyone does branches like a amateur squiggle things. It's either straight or curved, straight or curved. Leave a gap there because that's where the leaves go. And a fine tip, you should be able to get some real fine branches from this guy. Don't go over the whole lot. We're going to be doing dark leaves there. We've got our nice crisp light leaves, but for the time being it's all just dark stuff. Look at that's popping out. Bring in a bit of that weird blue color. I think it's almost a turquoisey color. Not black. We need this interesting, these silhouetted branches and twigs. If there's too much paint on the brush, just ease it off a bit and you should be able to get a thinner line. So the eye is coming up into this tree. We don't want to distract from there a little bit. We want to lead up into there, and we want to lead up into that tree there. We don't want arbitrary stuff where the eye's going to like, ooh, what's this? We've got another telephone pole there, another telephone pole. We're going to concentration of detail here, concentration of detail there. So now we're just slowly building up on the trees in the background here with the tree trunks, and then we're going to start putting trees in the distance and getting a little bit of sky coming through at the top there. Again, I use this brush that I've bashed flat to get the detail in. Keep a little bit of this light green coming through, because it's really stark, makes everything stand out. Let's not have leaves going in, otherwise it look like a sable's eating the tree, so just steer around that. Nice mixture. I like my cadmium orange with the green. Maybe a little bit of dark color, just tone it down a little bit. Going to use my long-haired brush again, get some detail in. So I'm dabbing all the leaves here, just get some, my light is coming from here, so I just put shadow on the far side of these leaves. I can put a little bit of water in here just to get things running a little bit. Just dab water on, so it just tones it down a little bit there. Going to do a branch here. We're going to have some dark branches going up there in the background. If it's not black, you've got to mix in reds and like my turquoisey color there. And as I say, we get a little bit of the sky coming through here later on. So it's a nice deep red, reddy brown color for the tree here. Be very careful. I leave a zone around the head there. I don't want like a spear going into its side. So So now we're just going to continue detail. This is the time. Takes a just nibble here and there, just get detail on the grass, etc. Bush is very thick and complicated and messy, and you just got to keep working away until it looks right. You've got some colors coming through, drop some back. Using my long-haired brush again. Actually could have thousands of bits of grass here. It's funny, right-handed people, the grass tends to go that way. Left-handed people goes the other way. You could so you see a watercolor, you can tell what type of artist did the picture. Also, when I paint a tree, often I work upside down. If I'm doing a big tree, I'll paint the branches upside down because it's easier for the hand to pull down rather than keep pushing up. That's lots of work. So some people come in and find my painting upside down because it's a lot easier for me because I'm using gravity to help me. It's not so much work. So I just keep plugging away, just grass after grass after grass. So we're getting near the final stages of the painting now. What I want to try and do is get the effect of the sky coming through the trees in the background. I've laid out my palette here. I've got I need a lighter color of this. I'm going to mix white in with these colors and just get a hint of the sky coming through the clouds. Before I started this, I sprayed the fixative again 2 or 3 times on there to make sure that these colors don't run once I start putting the new paint on there, the watercolor. So that seals it down. If you keep working, this is going to break away. But so you have to try and be as efficient as possible right from the beginning. So we just want to get a hint of the sky appearing through there. But this will not work unless you fix down the base what you've already got there. So I'm going to spray water on the sky areas. I don't need the sky coming through there. So whatever paint I put down should be able to spread a little bit. I've got my blending brush ready because I might have to soften in the paint when I put it down. So let's start up this end. The water droplets are quite thick here, so I just want to, in fact, just use the brush here. Just spread it out a bit here. I've got my mauve. My mauve is particularly important here. That's black there. Tone it down a little bit. I'm going to do a little test dab to see if I'm on the right color here. Yeah, see, it's quite good, so lighten it up a little bit. was the odd hair that gets in the way. So because there's water, it'll spread a little bit like this. It'll be much softer edges. And if there aren't softer edges, I'll use my blending brush. So I've got each side of this, it should look like a bit of a tree trunk. Soften a little bit. This is lovely because it just spreads the paint gently around. Okay, now this is a lot darker area, so I'm going to need a darker sky color. Much darker sky here, just break that up a little bit. So sort of hints of trees in the background there. Get a straight line here. I don't like that. Just break it up a little bit. Okay, because it's wet, the paint will spread gently like that. Okay, I think that's good. Now what I have to do now is really go into the fur. It's a grey color, bluey grey color with a sable. Now going with black, and so you should actually just about see every single hair on these animals. And then I'll finally go over with the grass in fine detail there. So this all is a backdrop, and then as a reward for having been such a good boy, the paintbrush, I peel off the green and admire the painting until I stagger off. Right, that's good so far. So these are the final touches I'm doing on the painting. My khaki color there for a little bit of grass. My long-haired brush. I could spend hours doing thousands of leaves, but I think we've told the story. The job is just about done. Right, that's it. So now the best part of the painting, tear the tape away from the image, just in case the paper does tear a little bit. This makes the picture look really nice and crisp. Nice clear cut borders. It's a very vivid image. It really pops out. You can increase the benefit of sales by getting it scanned and printed and doing a limited edition number of prints. If you enhance a print, it means you actually paint onto a print to make it slightly original. So if I got 10 prints, I could do extra leaves in here and extra grass, maybe a bird flying away with fright. I sign the print here on the picture, or I could get it printed out properly here, Sable Flight, and then my signature limited edition number. The AP 1 to 10 is normally the artist proof go to friends, so you can do AP 1 out of 10, or you can make a limited edition out of 200, say. But that's done. The other pictures I've been working on now, it's like a Kalahari scene with ostriches running past. I'm going to have wildebeest in the background there. I love the sky movement on this one. You got a couple of elephant here. You can see where I've masked off the sky. All the clouds come down into my subject matter. I've still got to work on the foreground, and I'm starting to work on both these guys. Again, different colors in my skies. I'm bringing in a lot of browns and things. My zebra here, you can see where I've masked off with this gum, painting gum, this blue gum you put on here, let it dry, put in the sun for a bit maybe, and then get an eraser, and after you've done the sky, then you erase it off, and all the white pops back out again. Very good for zebra, because that's actually the paper that's the color of the paper there. And they're walking into a little bit of space. So that's it. Good luck with watercolor painting. Don't forget, you're going to use up a lot of white. Get a tin like this. It's water based. You mix it in with your white water tubes. Also, when you get your white water tubes, there's a series number on each one. This is a series 1. It's the cheapest you can get. It goes up to like series 5. Very expensive. I don't believe that you need the higher series and pay 4 times as much money. The lower cost paints are very good. They work just as well. My brushes as well, I never ever leave them hanging hanging in water overnight because they will bend. So I normally clean them. At the end of the day, I take them through soap and water, wash them, look after them. My blending brush is invaluable to me. I always make sure that at the end of the day, this brush here, I go through to the kitchen and I wash it with water again and again. And then I've had a couple of these for years. Never ever leave them hanging in water. And of course, my paper is very heavy. If the light of the paper, it's going to wrinkle like this, and then you're going to get all sorts of troughs appearing. That's it. Good luck.